Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another film and TV news video on my channel. So this is going to be a different kind of thing because the first was going to be a huge one, and the other was going to be the small one. So let's not waste your time and let's get on with it. So, four-time Academy Award nominee Saoirse Roman was already signed out to play Linda McCartney in the Sam Mendes The Beatles biopic, a full film event, cinematic event. It's going to be like the. I want to talk about the bio now. This is the. I'm going to talk about biopic in a second, but this is going to be a huge one. If you don't know what Saoirse Ronan is, he's an Irish actress who been in a been career as born begin in since age 10, or actually age 9. He made the acting debut in the RTE Irish series The Clinic, and eventually made way to the acting film debut in I Could Never Be Your Woman, starring alongside Michelle Pfeiffer and Brad Rudd. Unfortunately, that movie was never getting released by South African in US, but although it was released in some territories in international markets. But it dumped on the DVD through the Weinstein Company Home Entertainment because of in February 12th. But no, I think that the reason that Weinstein Company was gone a lot of problems lately before this scandal happened. God bless us. Anyway, that said, the and then it eventually so but it actually made the proper acting film debut in the Joe Wright's Emolinet, was playing the younger version of Bruno Tell at age 13, and younger Tell's sister, an inspired novelist, and it's got to receive well. Even Joe Wright, who came out for the last film movie, Pride of Prejudice, it's just really more the different kind of direction. And Modern Nets was pretty much a film with the appeal to kind of audience. Now this is one the history was born. An acting career had a supporting role, and even in acting career, he'd been on for a long time. And eventually, he continued making some niche films that probably be familiar in UK and non UK as notable, including Brooklyn and Loving Vincent. So pretty much the. I mean, I'm not like we're watching a new Weather the Full movie into 30 scale gate. Sorry. And it's pretty much a comparison. Like I gave it proper critical acclaim, and even this a lot of voice actors like the Annie Turner, Jamie Flynn, and Chris O'Donnell. And it's probably my British film, so I probably it came the same year they gave a breakthrough with the Greta Gerwig's directorial debut with Lady Bird, with the some of the other some stars like Lucas Hackers, Tiffany Chalamet, Bernie Fleestein, and a lot of others. It's pretty much become the what they prefer the breakthrough role of the Saoirse Ronan, and for all that he get. And this is from May 24, and he eventually reteamed with the Gerwig 2 years later in Little Women, as the film was probably alongside with Emma currently features more stars in familiar faces and more become appearing, including again Tiffany Chalamet, along with Emma Watson, Florence Pugh, Lauren Durr, and Bob Odenkirk from um, Better Call Saul. Yeah, that's a Breaking Bad spinoff. So you have never heard it, so I haven't seen it. And Meryl Streep. So I think this is going to be the best movie. And between the Lady Bird and this movie was Little Women, this will model the groundbreaking relationship. That's like the Pacino and or even like Robert De Niro and the Martin Scorsese would happen filmer like type thing. But this is for familiar faces. But I respected the film career, but or even Brad Pitt and David Fincher who happened in four films. So mostly currently working on the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood spinoff. So there's that. Nevertheless, I probably know the film actors relationship is like barely thing about this thing. So I think the Saoirse Roman's acting career was gone further, and especially the French Dispatch was. I think there's a Wes Anderson movie, and this is the second time that although the first one was the Grand Budapest Hotel, and the See How They Run. Because that movie sounds like it was straight from the Wes Anderson Wes Anderson's Brave Book, and eventually with a recent film, The Unrun, was gone critical acclaim and even received well and okay, but also did the Steve McQueen's Blips movie, was also good, okay, got okay reviews. So, but this is going to be a more interesting one. So I think the film resume, acting resume, was probably not the most actors in Ireland, including again Colin Farrell, Claire Murphy, Michael Fassbender, and the female side. Jesse Buckley, so if you know, as well as fellow Irish actors who were in this the Beatles movie, including Barry Keoghan and Paul Mossey. So this is going to be more like it is. Even the new Hamet Net movie was probably the Chloe Soul movie was probably casting two familiar Irish actors. So there's that. So yeah, this is going to be excited. Yeah, because the problem might release in the Irish market cinemas for Sony Pictures, but I'm not sure. Anyway, let's continue on with this is recorded for Deadline. Four-time Academy Award nominee Saoirse Ronan from Brooklyn. Yeah, another movie that if you're familiar with that movie, but this is from 2015, and it was gone 2 years before the gun breakthrough in Lady Bird. So who knows, has inked the deal to play Linda McCartney, the first wife of the Beatles' Paul McCartney, in the Sam Mendes The Beatles a 4-year cinematic event. Motor sources tell Deadline. Rep somebody for Sony Pictures declined to comment. Roman joined the cast that includes Paul Mercy as Paul McCartney. Well, yeah, because the name, the first Paul Mercy and Paul McCartney are the first same name, Paul. Yeah, probably the DNA Productions logo and heard that reference. Hi, I'm Paul. Anyway, Barry Keoghan, other fellow Irish actor, as Ringo Starr. Joseph Quinn, yes, the guy from the co-star, Paul Mercy's co-star from Gladiator 2, and also a Fantastic Four guy, if you've seen that, as George Harrison, and Harrison Dickinson as John Lennon. Um, with each of the Mendes direct Beatles films telling a story of a different member of a band, Roland is expected to feature prominently in the installment centered of the McCartney. Although it's unknown to what extent she might appear in the other three. Linda McCartney was a photographer, um, musician, and amateur rights activist who rose to the protesters in the 1960s with the portrait of Rolling Stones, Jimi Hendrix, and Doors. Yes, I did got them great bands, artists from the '60s, and I probably seen the. I mean, the Doors have a biopic with Oliver Stone, was led by Vancouver, the late great Vancouver, as Jim Morrison. So anyway, the first female photographer to have her work under the cover of Rolling Stones. Stone, that's a magazine, not the band. I probably best I use that name. Anyway, did she marry Paul McCartney in 1969, and who worked alongside him as a part of the band, his band Wings, in the post Beatles career. You know, the band Wings, if you're pretty familiar with the best known one song from James, it actually is James Bond theme was "Live and Let Die," was probably familiar with, and especially the da 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 da. You know that thing, the solo thing. So I would probably that's the best song. Even standards were pretty listening. In fact, Will Yankovic didn't want to make a parody. Thank you very much. Thank God. Anyway, the passionate advocate for veganism and animal welfare, she launched her own company, Linda McCartney Foods, in 1991. And he passed away from cancer in 1992. Poor man. So yeah, um, when Red first did report on the Beatles films from Mendes, all of which will be released in theaters in April 2028. And this is like say this is going to be more like a Barbenheimer, but for Beatles, taking a box office and something like that with the movies like Bobby and Oppenheimer, but each taking a box office results. But this is like more like the movies appear to kind of audience that pretty releasing back to back movies, and it is probably like movies like gonna appear to the audience. So probably more gone the box office results, even got rave review, got critical reception. So Yeah, in the book experience in the nice, Mendes would direct with a script written by the Jet Butterworth, Peter Strahan, and Jack Frohn. As we told you first, it's unclear the projects each were tackling a collaboration. Yeah, and a collaboration between Sony Pictures Entertainment and Mendes New Street Productions. The films will be produced by Mendes, Peter Harris, and Julia Pastor of New Street, as well as the Alexandria Derbyshire, and associated with the Apple codes for Sony Pictures. Yeah, because we can't afford the. Yeah, and producers wanted to say, you originally set up at 20th Century Studios under Disney or straight out Walt Disney Pictures, since Disney had got a lot of connection between the Beatles, mostly in documentaries and stuff on Disney Plus, and or maybe Universal Pictures, where was going to like because they had a contract with Nate um, in the yesterday movie with that what Patel, like the guy person, what's it called? Patel. Yeah, I'm not sure. So and Lita James too, but this pretty much gone okay. Even a cameo by even Ed Sheeran as a supporting role as himself. I get that. Anyway, this box was the first time that the Beatles and Apple Corps Limited had authorized to use of the band members' live stories and scripted and the music in the scripted films, in addition to distribute Sony Pictures the finance of these projects. An Irish actress known for work in the preceded pictures like Brooklyn, Ladybird, and Little Women. The latter two were directed by Greta Gerwig, which later also made um, Bobby and the an upcoming Narnia movie from Netflix. Ronan has most recent been seen in the Norderfinsterstein, the Odd Run. Yeah, I think he's German. I'm not sure. And Steve McQueen's Blitz. And up next, she's been seen starring in the Bad Apples. Yeah, this is not actually like a Greek film, but Kate Blanchett producing, but I'm not sure. But a doc comedy from the filmmaker Jennifer Islet that's coming off the world premiere at Toronto TIFF, Toronto Film International Film Festival. As we first reporting, she's also set to star opposite Oscar Butler in Deep Cuts, a musical theme A24 love story from The Iron Claw's Sean Turkin, a tattoo of the debut novel for Holly Brickley. Wow, this is gonna be a more like a. I'm not sure the Shosha Roman will could be like Linda McCartney. I mean, look, take for example, Nowhere Boy. It was a biopic of John Lennon, and it was a film. It was directed by Sam Taylor Wood, later Sam Taylor Johnson, because he married to Aaron Taylor Johnson. Seriously, what is this? Something about age gap. Anyway, the movie starring um, her soon to be her husband Johnson, of course, along with Aaron Marie Buff, and Christian Scott Thomas. So I probably know this is more like the inspiration of the Sam Mendes movie, but this is not like loosely like this is day life. Like this is not close to that to the Sam Mendes one. So even this is not a this account, but even this is completely related. But this has got rave reviews. But even that movie was pretty much acclaimed, especially in Aaron Thompson was got rave reviews, and this is pretty much different. Like, I think Linda McCartney might be going to be playing as Saoirse Ronan might go to play as Linda McCartney. So even in looking was going to be imper like Linda McCartney was probably known the photographer, but now he sadly passed away. But this is more than much going to be more like happening. I mean, Saoirse Ronan was a great actor. Like I like I said, Lady Bird and Little Women, Greta Gerwig's directorial films. That's good, but I watch I've known and Saoirse Ronan for a long time, and I think pretty much the more young Irish actress. Hey, even Jesse Buckley has to do when he gondolas to sex in the Irish become the more like common between Saoirse Ronan and Jesse Buckley. He had mostly acting careers have been for a long time. Mostly the debut to the Wild Roles, and then eventually to in films like the Behavior, the Contract. I think in the ending things, The Lost Daughter, Man, that's as it's called on film, Woman Talking, and more recent of the Oscar Comment and Fingernails. It was a the Greek film was Kate Blanchett was the producers, and Wicked Little Letters was a funny mystery comedy film. Again, that's per like capitalized like if I mention see if I mention see how they run again with this is basically become a straight from Wes Anderson's Blake book, but not the rest. And then the reason went to the recent Oscar contender with a fellow Irish actor Paul Mercy in Chloe Shaw's Hamnet, and because this movie was pretty intense because Sam Mendes was cast Paul Mercy in the Beatles movie. I'm not sure this is happening, but it received a gone critical acclaim, and even Jesse and Paul might got nominated for Oscars. So or even some others, and especially and also he had been an upcoming film. The Bride was a Maggie Gyllenhaal's second director effort, who's worked in the last movie, The Lost Daughter. But I'm not sure to compete with another movie related to Frankenstein with Jacob Ellery, the guy from Aphobia and Salburn, was over on Netflix. Was directed by Gwyneth Del Toro. So yeah, I think this happened. But this is like I'm pretty sure Saoirse Roman and along with Stacey Bucky was probably young Irish actors we're familiar with. But I think this is going to happen. But that's not all. Not even all. This is a different article over at RollReel.com. So at the month of reversal, Sam Mendes is supposed to finally start production of these on the four Beatles movies next month. The films are set to be shot convincingly, each with a different writer, um, with each with a driven screenwriter in the Rasmon style Netflix. The logic of this project are thus to be facets of these films themselves. We are already know that main cast. Paul Mercy as Paul McCartney, again, two different names got people are between name the same first name. Don't make no sense. Barry Keoghan as Ringo Starr, Joseph Quinn as Joe Harrison, the Harris Dickinson as John Lennon, and how about the wives? It's now being reported that the four-time Oscar nominee Saoirse Ronan from Brooklyn has joined the project to play Linda McCartney, the first wife of the Paul McCartney in Mendes' The Beatles, the full movie film cinematic event, multiple sources tell Deadline. It should also be mentioned that Anna Swaby from Shogun's FX series was probably seen on Disney Plus is rumored to be circled the project to play Yoko Ono, and Annie Lou Wood for White Lotus might be playing the Patty role, George Harrison's wife at of 11 years. Yeah, I'm not sure this. Anyway, with each of the Mendes films, Beatles films to focus on the different member of the band. Ronan is expected to play the central role in the McCartney's installment. For it remains unclear whether she will appear to in the other three Mendes films from the Beatles films from Mendes, all set for the theatrical release in 2028 in April 2028. Again, it's like the Barbara Iver situation was released at the same time, but oh, however, the year of that April month of April were releasing kind of saw releasing the four different movies and probably got an Oscar buzz even before the summer blockbusters. Represent a bold experience in the event style filmmaking. Mendes will direct, working from the scripts by Jess Butterworth, Bet Strotherhan, and Jack Froud. Froud, it remains unclear which writer and handle which project. The film the films are expected to have the 15-month shoot. Puck Man Belloni recently reported that the movies are said to be costing about $1 million. No, $100 million each, and that's the 400 million dollars plus in total. At a price tag that the rivals of the biggest studio bets over the past decade. Sony Pictures head Top Robin, however, is baking big on Mendes. So, yeah, I think this is a fresh off of the Shawn Mendes' last film, 1917, which have gone a lot of massive hits from over 6 years ago almost. But that movie is pretty much a critical acclaim, even the one take movie. So I appreciate for that. Um, but even the Sony Pictures standards, like I think, so he worked for a lot, and Sony Pictures has been working from between the James Bond movie, including Skyfall and Spectre, and under the deal with Amazon in NGN before Amazon. This is at a time when before Amazon bought the company, but yeah. Anyway, but still, I'm probably excited. This movie is going to be be even compete like a Barbenheimer situation. Like again, this released in April 2028, which is 2 or 3 years, I think. But I think this is going to be more the release in movies between the same month. But I hope releasing the movies between the got selected between movies. So yeah. Anyway, great Greeker Fraser, who stepped away from Denis Villeneuve's Dune 3, Dune Part 3, and Matt Reeves' The Batman Part 2, will serve as a cinematography on Beatles. And there's only reason that both are the Warner Brothers projects on step away to make the Beatles movie. So I'm not sure that I blame Michael DeLuca and Penn Abbey, and especially the infamous David Zaslav. That made no sense. That movie we lost the cinematography of that the Warner Bros. Projects. I mean, the Dune Part 3 well, might be going to be bring a different cinematography, um, like Roger Deakins. Yeah, that's right. I hope we'll bring the third to the bad Doom Part 3 was going to be more like the more the when we unite with Denis Villeneuve was more focused back to the roots. So it's pretty much gonna reunite for the. I think Roger Deakins is a great cinematography. He did a lot of great films. So we'll see. So anyway, yeah, I think the Warner Brothers we lost the cinematography of the both Warner Brothers upcoming projects. That's pretty much the last. Especially stock went down, even verge of splitting up the companies. But that's a whole nother story for another time. But and I think this, like I said, Saoirse Roman was going to be playing as Linda McCartney was a good, might be did a good performance of the guy in the Oscar bus, but I think this is not happening anytime soon. But this is pretty much the I was familiar for work for a long time, and I love the as again Lady Bird, Little Women, and the recent few films I've pretty much seen, especially the Outrun movie with um and Blitz, Steve McQueen's Blitz movie. So if you love Saoirse Roman and especially the fans of Beatles, I'm looking forward for that. So I can be excited if you're happening now. And as for the two other actresses who are going to be playing as a wife of the Beatles members, that it might be going to be true. So we'll see. So. I can't really get excited for the new The Beatles movie in 2028. So good luck, Mr. Roman and Mendes. On the smaller side, that Cineverse Albert got a reboot. Got it cast because Albut's returns was coming in next year, like it released in next year, 2026, because he had a lot of cast and more small niche cast. Like Terrifier has to do with the small niche cast for this is the same studio, by the way. And Toxic Adventure reboot, yeah, he got a major cast like Peter Dinklage, Kevin Bacon, Elijah Wood, and then one girl from um, Taylor Page and Jacob Tremblay. Or you know the scene that he's appearing role in the Brie Larson's Room movie that isn't Tell Me What's So. So anyway, and according to the horrible reporter that this is going to be happening, but Cineverse is going to be bring family friendly back to the in the big dark fun sports movie related to animals. So so here's what happened. Abbott returned movie reboot set the cast ahead in 2026 release. Writer director Robert Vince's film is the latest installment in the franchise centered on the basketball Ravi Gordon Redwright. The new installment in the Abbott franchise is ready to hit in the ground running. Sorry. Abbott returns is which is a planning in the 2026 theatrical release, which stars Aiden Atras Yeah, I think the name is Aiden. This is Turkish. I don't know, for Blues Clues and you. And yes, this is the same company. Yes, this is from the Paramount Skydance. Cancel that. A la Warner Brothers Discovery. Sorry, not sorry, but that's fine. We're not since they no longer boycott anymore. Especially the late show with Stephen Colbert was going to be canceled. So anyway, Tracy Eiffel Encore from Pitt series. Um, Edward Gibson was not actually the father of Tyrese Gibson from Fast and Furious movies, and singer too. From the Bear series, Tyler Laban, New Amsterdam, Eric Rowe, from Lear Jackets, and Maxine Sweeten, from Brookie series film. The Horrible Reporter has exclusively learned production is currently underway under writer-director Robert Vince sports film that continue the legacy of the 1997's Richard Elba. In the center of the franchise, the basketball playing Golden Retriever Buddy, portrayed in the Elbut Returns by Rose Collett, who was a cast by Hollywood um, animal trainer Mark Forbes. That last name didn't make no sense. As a result of the movie recent contest, the search of the next Abbott Golden Retrieves, Charlie and Summer, double as Buddy in the King basketball and stump secrets. The forthcoming project hailed from Cineverse and Abbott Entertainment. And this is the industry now. The original Abbott movies was originating game from the U.S. distribution agreement for with Walt Disney, and they began a more the family friendly partnership back when Michael Eisner was still in charge. But I think that's pretty much it appeared to kind of audience. It released in Philadelphia in the U.S., but even in the other territories been handled by international market. But eventually Disney lost the rights immediately, and probably the dog animal movies are probably gone decline in sales. But you've seen it on YouTube video about that. But eventually Cineverse, the one of the horror films like the again Terrifier and some others, Dark Knight Rises remake, and as well as the upcoming the Silent Night Deadly Night remake, on board to the maker of the family friendly project that wanted baking to the by the nostalgic factor. So about the basketball uh, playing dog bus person. So yeah, App Returns was focused on the 12-year-old Jacob Atlas, artist, as an aspired basketball player coping. I don't know what the hell is coping. I don't know. What do you to talk about? YouTube comments? Anyway, with the recent loss his dad after she and his mom Eiffel Lenker moved to his dad's childhood home in the farm field. Jacob discovered a VHS tape of his dad playing basketball on the same court as a Hooper's Shooty's golden retriever. Soon, Jacob begins his own adventure with a neglected golden retriever that is named Buddy. Yeah, standing in the franchise hometown of Frederick is the Fort Late, British Columbia in Canada, where production recently commenced. Vince helmed the new feature as it created the Ed Bud franchise and producing all 40 titles in the Plastic series. Again, this is a ritually distributed US by Disney, so even an international market, but until Disney lost the rights, but after Iger resigned and Eisner resigned and Bob Iger would take on. Anyway, and it's a Simply Ed Buddies and Santa Paul spin-off series, producers on Ed Bud's returns, including Vince and Adam McRoberts. We couldn't be more excited to official roll cameras on Ed Bud returns with this incredible cast, says director and the EBE founder, Ed Bud Entertainment founder Vince. Um, the passion we saw doing the nationwide search of the next buddy was a reminder of how deeply the franchise resonated with families. With such a talented ensemble alongside our candy stars, this film carried forward with the heart of magic that made the original so beloved around the world. But returns to serve as the sequel to the director's Charles Martin Smith's film Airbud was technically was a canon, but yeah, it's like Talcon Metric was a sequel to the original Talcon movie, but this is not even actually a canon. Even the Ghostbusters Afterlife movie was a sort of the sequel to the first two Ghostbusters movies. So yeah, which hit theaters in summer 1997, was of course distributed by Walt Disney Pictures and centered on the titular Golden Retriever joined the high school basketball team. It spawned the 1998 theatrical sequel, Bud Golden Receiver, and eventually making a direct-to-video movies of release on Walt Disney Home Video, a later Walt Disney Home Entertainment. But yeah, at Cineverse chief motion picture officer Yolanda Malice announcing our cast and the Golden Retrievers bringing Buddy to life. Right to the production begin as an ideal way to mark the return of the Airbud legacy. This franchise has always connect across generation, and we are excited to see Airbud returns continue that the family tradition. So yeah, I think this is gonna be an industry news, and I think they're excited from the Airbud movie with that Wonder Baking. It might going to be a eventually release on Philadelphia or straight up streaming. Like it may be released on Prime Video or Netflix or even in smaller ones like Tubi or Roku. But this is going to be more like I probably know the less known actors prepare to. So I hope Airbud movie was going to be grand return to the more nostalgia factor, even though not releasing on home video, but kind of direct to video stuff. But this is going to be a big comeback, and I think it's going to be, like I said, it might release in Philadelphia, but we'll see. Philosophical, but we'll see. So I can't wait to Bud movies. What's going to be happening, and they're going to go came back to do bigger and better project. And Robert Vince was going to be more new direction, but with a modern twist. And I think it's going to be a nostalgia factor that all the generations were watching. So anyway, so I can't wait. And I think it'll be a next. And again, it's gonna be released next year. So I'm looking forward. And I think the only thing about this universe is the independent companies that promote the genre label was probably much unlike Screen Gems and New Line Cinema, and especially the Paramount's Untitled Film General label was led by the Light Pictures team. The same people made Weapons and Barbarian and a lot of others. But Cineverse is more like a general company. Unlike Trauma Entertainment or other horror film companies, this Cineverse is more like it appeared to kind of niche market. And compare like Shout Studios, formerly Shout Factory, that's was actually made up to the physical releases and ventured to the philosophical release. But even Cineverse standards will bring all the entertainment to all the niche markets. So even the recent success of the terrifying movies was gone unrated. So this is more going to be more different. And even Toxic Adventure remake and the Silent Night Dead and Night remake was coming. So and between I hope this universe is going to be more like a mini major way, but even the more genre market, a la Lionsgate. So we'll see what happens in future. But I hope Elba Returns is going to be better than the first original one in 1997. But we'll see. Anyway, that concludes the film and TV news. Let me know what you think. Do you agree the Bud Returns would could be excited, or maybe Saoirse Ronan would be playing as Linda McCartney in the Beatles biopics? Is it going to be excited? Let me know. And let me know what you think. Give a like this video, share your friends. Don't forget to subscribe and ring your notification bell. And I'll see you guys in my next video. And remember, keep watching on One Me.